MMO trappings in an unorthodox payment structure, Need for Speed World lets you start playing for free and pay if you want more. Is the extra content worth the cash, or is a test drive all you need? Need for Speed World's leveling structure is at the core of its design. At the end of every race, you earn experience known as rep, and leveling up nets you access to additional races, cars, upgrades, and special driver skills, like perfect starting line launches. Players who don't pony up have access to the first 10 levels of content, but if you want to continue on to level 50, you'll have to buy the $20 starter pack. Included in this pack is 8,000 Boost, a currency used to buy power-ups, temporarily amplify earnings, or rent high-end cars. Boost equates to real money, separate from the virtual cash won from races. And if you do the math, you'll realize that every time you hit the Nitro button, you're essentially spending a dime. Lucky cards at the end of every event will randomly give you extra power-ups, but the only other way to get more is to buy them. The car selection in World is relatively thin. There are only 25 vehicles available across 3 tiers, and customization is limited to visuals and preset upgrade packages. More importantly, the prices for new vehicles are set so high that it can take hundreds of races to get the car you want. If you don't want to wait, you can spend your real money to rent a car for 3 days, but there's a catch. The matchmaking attempts to put you against similar players, and since most players don't have high-tier cars at this point, you're stuck waiting longer for matches with only 1 or 2 opponents, who often are inexplicably still driving beginner cars. This early in the game's life, paying real money for a fast car just results in less competition and lower earnings. This issue with progression is mirrored in the track selection. It's a slow grind to unlock new ones, and there's less activity on high-level courses, driving players back to early tracks or single-player races. There are just over a dozen track layouts available by the time you reach level 10, but instead of branching out to different sections of the map, most of them are clustered together with lots of shared routes, making the experience quickly feel tedious. Between races, you can roam the map to scope out currently locked out areas like casinos, shipyards, and amusement parks, but there are no real incentives or rewards for exploring. While Need for Speed World calls itself an MMO, there's no real emphasis on large groups or cooperation. Other players' cars are visible in free roam and there are chat channels, but collision detection is turned off on the main map to reduce mischief, and races are limited to 8 participants. The handful of event types include point-to-point sprints, multi-lap races, police pursuits, and meeting places just to chat and mess around. The handling is simple and easy to pick up and play, letting you dive into last-minute shortcuts and swerve around spawning traffic. Nitrous is nothing new to the series, but there's a greater emphasis on power-ups overall. Traffic magnets target players in the lead, causing cars to swerve toward them. Juggernaut gives your car more ramming power, and other abilities let you make emergency escapes from the cops or repair tires after driving across spike strips.
This is getting out of control. I'm gonna take him out.
Cop chases are an entirely one-player affair, so don't expect to call on your buddies if you need backup. The police are always present in free roam, but no matter how serious your crime, they'll ignore you completely until you ram them. Then it's time to lead them on a drive through the local golf course. Chases are about what you'd expect. You can cause destruction to wreck patrol cars, and you'll have to avoid roadblocks, spike strips, and SUVs that slam you head-on. You'll rack up additional rep for getting through these traps, but there's little masking the fact that cops spawn just up the road, and the game erroneously gives you credit for dodging spike strips, even when you drive directly over them.
He went over the spikes. He's over the spikes.
He went over the spikes. He's over the spikes.
Environments and car models in Need for Speed World look average at best. Damage is limited to a few scrapes and unconvincing cracks to the windshield, and visual effects, like reverse lights, look cheap. Traffic cars are a constant distraction as they blink in and out, and free roam is a visual mess with player cars constantly clipping through each other. There's a good sense of speed in general, but hitting the nitro feels weak. Audio design is similarly underwhelming, with reserved police chatter and music that only plays while idling or in pursuit.
On the scene here and assuming control.
Need for Speed World is a slow crawl toward new tracks and cars, and at this point, its design offers more rewards for players that stick to what's free in lieu of checking out the paid content. The experience becomes a monotonous grind before you get anywhere near the level 10 cap for free players, so put some time in before you slap down $20.